It's an unseasonably cool night in eastern Georgia. It is homecoming in Statesboro. And at Paulson Stadium, the Georgia Southern Eagles look to get back to 500, preserving bowl eligibility. They're taking on the Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns on this Thursday evening in prime time. Let's take a look at the Sun Belt standings. Everyone is chasing Troy and App State. Everyone else jockeying for those final bowl slots in the Sun Belt. And along with All-American quarterback Jay Walker, I'm Alex Faust. So you're Georgia Southern. You lost your number one quarterback. You lost your number two quarterback. Your third option is Seth Schumann, a freshman. He will be getting the start for Georgia Southern here today. How does that impact the Eagles here tonight?
Tremendously in terms of the play call. In Georgia Southern, by tradition, they love to run the option quarterback. You have to have a lot of mobility. With Seth Schumann, he is athletic, but he throws the ball a little bit better than he runs the ball. They're going to see what he can do in his first career start, because every game counts from here on out for the Georgia Southern Eagles as they try and qualify for bowl eligibility.
Now on the other side, they got a mobile quarterback as well. Anthony Jennings, senior, former LSU Tiger. He can run, but they're going to try to throw the football around the yard tonight.
Yeah, they have to jumpstart this offense. They're only averaging 15 points a game, and they feel like the coach's play calling has been a little bit conservative. So they're going to take off the kid gloves off of Jennings and see what he can do. He has the skill set. He finally understands the offense completely. They hope he can be that spark in the second half of the season to really get the Ragin' Cajuns going.
Mark Hudspeth in his sixth season coaching the Ragin' Cajuns, former wide receiver coach at Mississippi State. His son, 2-year-old son, has a birthday today, as does the coach. His wife in attendance here celebrating as well. And Tyson Summers in his first season, one of the younger coaches in FBS football. He and Neil Brown, two bright young coaches in FBS football in this league. They're trying to get this team jump-started a bit. They're not used to losing football here in Statesboro. Georgia Southern at 4-5, just barely above 500 in league play, Jay. And it's a little bit different what they've seen this year. The option game hasn't worked to a T.
Yeah, Matt Breida, their All-American candidate at running back. The production is down, but it is a first-year head coach with the new scheme, so they've had to mesh, and they haven't quite done that. But both of these programs are in unusual positions. They're both accustomed to winning football games, competing for conference championship. Well, right now they're just competing for that fourth and fifth bowl spots that belong to the Sun Belt Conference.
It is homecoming in Statesboro. Tailgating all day.
Tailgating.
Yes, sir.
Sun Belt knows something about tailgating. We'll have more on that.
Will be our Give Me 5 later. How about let's play some football here as Miles Campbell will start just inside the hash, and Miles Campbell, who doesn't take many kickoff returns for Georgia Southern, gets a good one here to start this game.
That's the start you need right there at home during homecoming. Great special teams play and a fantastic return by Miles Campbell, one of the wide receivers for Georgia Southern.
38-yard run back to jumpstart things for the Eagles here tonight. We'll get our first look, at least as a starter, for Seth Schumann. Expected to redshirt this year. Injuries forced Tyson Summers' hand a bit. This will be his fourth appearance this year, including last week against Ole Miss, but they're expecting he will play the full game here tonight. But this is a triple option team. Traditionally has been that way, not just in coaching philosophy. They've always been that way. Breida on the first play from scrimmage gets the carry, and Matt Breida scrapping for whatever he can. They like to use the ground and pound, but you wonder when it calls for an aerial attack, what this Georgia Southern team will try to dial up.
They have to protect the quarterback, but it all starts on first and second down. Matt Breida needs to get that average per carry up. For the past 2 seasons, he's led FBS football in average yards per carry. This year, not even close. They're looking for him to get in gear.
No gain. And 2nd and 10. Here is Breida again. And Louisiana Lafayette, if they do one thing really well, it's stop the run. They have been staunch against the run this year. Only 3.2 yards per carry allowed on the season. And for a guy like Matt Breida, who's already struggling this year, that's not a good thing.
And you can tell there he's going to struggle just to make it to 1,000 yards after rushing for over 1,600 yards a season ago. No knock on him. It's been a new offense that we talked about, new option philosophy. He's a very talented kid. It's just been a tough senior season.
3rd and 9. This will be one of those passing situations that perhaps they're a little concerned about here. Schumann well protected, and he has his man. It's B.J. Johnson, who gets a first down and more Takes 5 or 6 raging Cajuns to bring him down.
Number 12, B.J. Johnson.
What a great job by the freshman of going through his progressions and trusting his wide receiver. You're going to see Johnson come across the formation. He waits till he clears the linebackers, delivers the ball in stride, and B.J. Johnson picks up the extra yardage needed for the first down.
Now we knew that Georgia Southern would also go a bit to the Wildcat. L.A. Ramsby, their number 2 running back, a former high school quarterback, but hasn't played at that position in 3 years. And he'll get at least 2 on first down. We saw this look in practice yesterday. They were going through a lot of different play calls and talking with Tyson Summers earlier this week. They said about a quarter to a third of the touches at quarterback will be L.A. Ramsby, and he's limping right away.
It's just the quarterback position at Georgia Southern's getting dinged up this year. Kevin Ellison injured, Fabian Upshaw injured. Now Ramsby lines up at quarterback, and he limps off with an injury.
My. Schumann going a bit across his body and has his man. A first down for Miles Campbell. And that second effort gets him inside the 30. Gain of 13.
And this is a good-looking play by Seth Schumann. So important as a quarterback that you turn your shoulders towards a target. Rolling out to his left, look at him square up his shoulders and deliver a bullet on the money to Miles Campbell. It's a good job of getting those shoulders square and delivering a strike.
Campbell last week, 121 yards. Season high for their redshirt junior wide receiver. It's Brito once again. And no gain on the play for the senior running back for Georgia Southern, who's been their top rusher each of the last 4 years.
We talked in the opening a little bit about what changes will we see. I think you have to throw the football early. If your offensive coordinators, David Dean and Rance Gillespie, first and second down, throw the football to open up the running lanes. Obviously, Louisiana Lafayette's not going to let you run the ball. They know you want to do that early. Establish that you can pass it, and those running lanes will increase.
Schumann looks to the outside, and Monte Crockett twisted out of bounds.
And that's what you have to do. That's a little bit of an extended handoff. Get the ball to a wide receiver in space. Therefore, you gain the respect of the defensive secondary, knowing that you're just one missed tackle away from having a big play. I like the play selection there, throwing the ball on second down.
Brings up a third down and manageable for Schumann. As you mentioned, Jay, former baseball player, still does play baseball here at Georgia Southern if he wants to. And the 8th play of the drive, knocking on the door of the red zone. Schumann zipped it over the middle and took a deflection on the way through. Monte Crockett, the intended target.
This is one you wonder if Crockett has to come up with this one. Yeah, catchable ball, a little bit of too much velocity. That's something that a lot of young quarterbacks do. They overthrow the short crossing patterns. Take a little velocity off the fastball. I'm using my baseball reference
exactly
now.
There.
Throw the changeup when he's running across the middle, that close to you.
So Younghoe Koo comes on to attempt a field goal. Be 39 yards, and this is a chip shot for him. Easy work of it for the senior from Ridgewood, New Jersey. And the early jump at home for the Georgia Southern Eagles.
ESPNU College Football is brought to you by Maxwell House. Good to the last drop.
3-0 lead for Georgia Southern. It's homecoming in Statesboro. The Eagles off to a good start, even with their third-string quarterback Seth Schumann being pressed into action. And then the Wildcat, L.A. Ramsby, we were just talking about it during the break, Jay, perhaps nicked up on one of those plays. He's trying to stretch it out and get loose on the sideline, but my goodness, it's like, as you said, it's almost like a curse on that position.
At the position, and they anticipated Ramsby probably taking 20 to 30% of the snaps tonight with the Wildcat package they worked on all week. A former high school quarterback, and now we'll see how much availability we have as this game continues.
The Raging Cajuns will get their first touch. This is Laverius Varnado from the goal line. And Varnado, couple stutter steps. And he'll get out to about the 20. Flag behind the play. And we'll hear our first word from Charles Lewis tonight. Raging Cajuns offense that has struggled this year, to say the least, averaging only 22 points per game.
During the kickoff return, holding on the receiving team, number 21. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st and 10, Louisiana Lafayette.
It's a sophomore Keenan Barnes with the penalty. And Mark Hudspeth's team will be backed up to start this one. But here's Anthony Jennings, who mentioned the grad transfer from LSU. 13 starts under Les Miles. They eventually went to Brandon Harris, as most of you know, one of the better dual-threat quarterbacks in the country when he was recruited by LSU. Look at his first touch today. Elijah McGuire, the featured back, but really hasn't been 100% this year. Also battling injury trouble. That's been a major story for the Cajuns. It is McGuire, who goes nowhere on first down. Tackled for a loss by Akue Elegwe.
Elegwe, number 7. You're going to see him play the middle linebacker position, just track down McGuire. One-on-one in the hole. But one thing you will see, some of the best linebacker play you're going to see in the conference with Elegwe and Ironhead Gallen leading the way for Georgia Southern. Those two can really get after the ball carriers.
Elegwe is leading the team in tackles for loss, about 6.5 on the season. First down for the Cajuns and more. Al Riles is still on his feet and gets out near midfield on a play that started out short enough. Riles extended it for a huge chunk through midfield, 38 yards.
Look at the eyes of Anthony Jennings. Watch him move the linebackers to open up the hole for the runner. Looking hard left, comes back right in a minute. They were all drifting that way, and he threw a strike. And that's a quarterback that's getting comfortable with this offense.
5-yard penalty still, first down.
Keenan Barnes once again. There's 2 penalties on this drive. But you're right, Jennings, even though he was recruited as a dual threat guy, they're going to expect chunk plays like that all night long from him.
And he can really zip the football. I was down on the field watching him throw in pregame. Nice natural release. It's a quick release, high velocity, and accurate.
Got a whistle before the snap here. No flag on the play.
I really like the job when we talked to Coach Mark Hudspeth. He realizes now the strength of this team with Elijah McGuire a little banged up is in the wide receivers. We've got some fantastic young wide receivers who he said are playing better than we thought they would coming into the season. And with a quarterback that's comfortable, they're going to make his transition. They're going to go from a team that likes to run the ball, particularly a lot of zone read, to a team that's going to throw the football. And that's what you have to do. Get the ball to your best football players and let them go out and create mismatch opportunities for you.
It's partly out of necessity. They've had to dig into the depth chart a bit. Guys like Raymond Callow, Jordan Wright. Here is McGuire, who eats into some of the penalty yardage, but only takes 3 out of the 5.
Be tough for any team to run the football tonight with the linebacker play. Again, we saw Elegwe there in the middle with Ironhead Gallen. Elegwe, the transfer from Florida State, 6'2", 240-pound run stuffer.
Defensive player of the week in the Sun Belt as well. 2nd and long. Jennings, tons of time. Little outside pass, Al Riles again. Turns out of bounds. A more manageable 3rd down upcoming for the Cajuns, who enter the night on a 3-game losing streak, trying to snap that and claw their way back to 500.
Losing last week to one of the upstart programs, I think, in the Sun Belt. Caught people by surprise. Idaho.
Yeah. That's their swan song in FBS football as well, supposedly. Jennings, long ball into coverage and just over top of Keenan Barnes. 50-50 ball, but just a couple inches too tall.
Barnes, 6'3", trying to use that vertical jump and just missed. An opportunity for a huge catch going against Darius Jones, number 5 from Georgia Southern. It's one of those balls where you like to see Barnes time his jump a little bit better. The ball wasn't that poorly thrown.
Now you have the top punter in the Sun Belt trying to flip the field a bit. Stephen Coots Aussie-style punt for the Brisbane native, and fair caught at the 10-yard line by Monte Crockett. Georgia Southern will get another crack at things. The early lead for the Eagles. Well, the last drive wound up being productive for Georgia Southern. Seth Schumann, pretty accurate to start.
Yeah, good job of getting the ball, take what the defense gives you, and the receivers did a great job of picking up yards after the catch. That additional yardage put them in third manageable situations that they were able to move the ball downfield and walk away with some points on their opening drive.
Georgia Southern's in need of some kind of spark. It's their worst stretch in a decade. Down to their third-string quarterback, as we talked about in the open. Only one win in their last 5 games. That hasn't happened in a decade with this program. This after 3 straight wins to start the season. And last week, even though they lost to Ole Miss, a step in the right direction, so to speak.
They're going to show some fight. It's a tough program, one of the most proud programs in all of college football. A lot of pride here. Lost a couple close games in the injury bug, but they're going to fight. At the end of the day, they're still in a position to control their own destiny if they can win out the rest of the season.
Plus a win on homecoming is always nice. Oh, Schumann got popped towards the end of that play. Gain of 7. He took a bit of a shot from Darius Varnado.
You have to feel like with Ramsby getting injured on the first play that he participated in, I don't know how much zone read or option offense you can call with Schumann. I mean, they basically said if we have to go to our 4th quarterback, we're in trouble. So I think that changes the play selection a little bit, and they have to just hand the ball off to Matt Breida a little bit more and hope that your All-American candidate can get things going.
A swing pass, Miles Campbell. Been a good spark for the Eagles to start this game. A little bit of extra towards the end of that play as well. Tracy Walker on the coverage for the Raging Cajuns.
I would tell you, Seth Schumann has a quick release. We talk about a live arm. He has a quick release. Doesn't take him much to get it going from 0 to 60 in a hurry.
So first down for Georgia Southern off the 6-yard gain. Schumann rolling, not a lot of time. Managed to get it away and was nearly caught by Monte Crockett. Good piece of work for the freshman quarterback.
Continue to buy some time, and I think what you're starting to see now is Louisiana Lafayette really starting to try and pressure the pocket, not allow Schumann to get comfortable, and they're starting to pick it up on the defensive line, particularly to Boards, lead number 92, applying pressure. And if they can get number 3, Joe Dillon, off the edge, that's the matchup they want to take advantage of.
Well, that's been one of the strengths, hasn't it, for Louisiana Lafayette.
So this is Joe Dillon here, top of your screen. So he lines up off the ball, but really going to come after the quarterback.
They rush 5, and Schumann is buried in the backfield. Kevon Perry, JUCO transfer, finally brought him down, loss of 3.
The consistency from the interior defensive lineman, Kevon Perry from his defensive tackle position. Joe Dillon with speed on the edge. It's a defense that has 21 sacks on the season.
That's the strength, perhaps, for Louisiana Lafayette. They've been very good against the run. As Drew Wilson comes off limping. He's just been inserted into the starting lineup as well over the last month for Georgia Southern. They're battling some injury trouble of their own. 3rd and 13 now for the Eagles. Cajuns bring pressure, and this is popped off the hands of Monte Crockett and nearly intercepted. That was up for grabs after the initial contact, and Simeon Thomas nearly came down with it.
Simeon Thomas is a good one, 6'3", 194-pound junior from Miami, Florida, but more importantly, 6'3" playing cornerback. Really like his size, tough to make catches on those type of routes against Thomas.
So Matt Flynn will punt it away for the first time tonight. This will be the first touch for Gary Haynes. He'll wave it off on a fair catch at the 44-yard line. 36-yard punt And the Cajuns back to work, trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and all week we'll be celebrating America's heroes. Take a look at some of the young military men and women from Louisiana Lafayette and Georgia Southern. A bunch of these folks currently serving in the armed forces as well. They have proud traditions, ROTC at both schools, and a lot of folks involved with both and well represented not only on campus but in attendance here tonight. Louisiana Lafayette takes over. And an end-around play. Raymond Calais has a first down and more past midfield. He's a true freshman and the fastest player on the team by far, former track champion of the state of Louisiana.
And they want to get the football to him early. Elijah McGuire is playing about 50%. They're going to see what the young freshman can do as he continues to improve, averaging over 6.5 yards per carry. Smart play selection, getting the football in his hands.
They want to get him more touches on the perimeter. That's what Mark Hudspeth told us earlier in the week. And here's another on first down to get a yard. Keme Eligwe on the tackle.
And that's been the story. There are a number of true freshmen or young freshman players that are starting and playing for this Raging Cajun offense. Both guards are first-time starters. The wide receiver, of course, 2 first-time starters in Calais. So this team is going to be built for the future, just struggling this season.
Jennings lobs it into coverage. And incomplete, but a flag comes in. Gary Haynes, the intended target, and was being covered by Jay Bowdry. But we'll see what the flag is all about. Jesse Liptrot, on the coverage.
Holding on the defense, number 30. A penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And that is on the freshman Liptrot.
Something might have been something that we couldn't see at first glance, but it looked like this is just good. Underthrown ball. The arm does wrap him a little bit. I can see why you made the call, but not allowing the wide receiver to come back. Had his arm tied up. It's a tough break, but I can see that being the right call.
I could see that, yeah. So a first down for the Raging Cajuns on the first penalty of the game for Georgia Southern. Darius Ray is in at quarterback, and Ray dodges a couple of tackles. We heard that he might get a couple of touches today. This is Dion Ray, redshirt freshman from New Orleans who picks up 6.
And they said when Ray comes in the game, we're going to make it flag football. You know what the number one play in flag football is? Sweep left, sweep right.
There you go.
So he comes in right away. They run sweep left. Now, wouldn't be surprised if they ran sweep right.
Elijah McGuire is to the quarterback's left. And Ray will keep it. Still on his feet. And he has a first down inside the red zone now. 10-yard pickup.
It's so funny. Every time Ray makes a big run, he keeps running to the sideline like he wants to come out of the game. And they're like, no, stay. We're going to keep it going. While you've got the hot hand, 2 consecutive runs, and they've picked up the first down. Let's keep force-feeding Dion Ray.
Jordan Davis was the backup on the depth chart. Came in mop-up duty against App State a couple weeks ago. Acquitted himself pretty well. I felt they wanted a little more speed, and Ray takes off again. He'll come up just short of the goal line, but sets up first down and goal for the Raging Cajuns.
Take a look at Robert Hunt here, number 50 in white, right here. Watch him get up to the second level. This is how you play offensive line. Swing by one guy, get out of here. Keep pushing the linebacker on the second level. Great job by the young freshman, Robert Hunt, getting to the second level in a hurry.
I've been calling the names of a lot of freshmen, I have the feeling, for Louisiana Lafayette. Ray with the handoff. This is McGuire, who has not been 100%, and he comes up a couple of inches shy of the goal line. Next touchdown for him will be number 50 in his career, which would set a program record. And it is McGuire, and it is a touchdown. That's a new Louisiana Lafayette program record, touchdown number 50 with a 4-year career of Elijah McGuire.
going to give it to him up the middle, find the crease, lower your shoulder pad level. And they just crossed the goal line.
As much as we talked about throwing the ball around the yard, every play this drive was a run play. Good starting field position to start. And 56 yards later, Stevie Artigue makes this a 7-3 lead for the Ragin' Cajuns on the road. We mentioned trying to stop a bit of a losing streak. They insert a new player to try to get it done. Top 3 programs in the college football playoff rankings will be in action on our air this weekend. We start it with Alabama against Mississippi State as noon. The Bulldogs coming off that big win against Texas A&M. Number 2, Clemson in action against Pitt at 3:30. 46 straight wins against unranked teams for Clemson. And then Michigan and Iowa caps it off with Saturday Night Football on ABC. All those games streaming on Watch ESPN. Decent run back for Georgia Southern. Get this back out to about the 25-yard line. Miles Campbell here as we take a look back at the touchdown for McGuire.
Good job. Just a good touchdown scorer. Knows when they get close to the end zone, the yard is tough to come by. And he's not only a good one, he's the best one in the history of Ragin' Cajun football.
McGuire already the all-time leader in program history in all-purpose yards. He and Christian McCaffrey are the only active players with 3,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards. He just hasn't been 100% this year. Sprained his ankle, had turf toe earlier this year. And they've been waiting for him to make an impact. That's an interesting number, Jay, to start this game. 8 rushing yards for Georgia Southern. Here's Matt Breida.
Just the last note on McGuire breaking the school record. So now can I finally say that there's a better offensive football player than Brian Mitchell to come out of Louisiana Lafayette? He'll let you know in a minute he's the best ever. Well, I don't know now. Now I've got something to argue with him about. So thank you, Elijah McGuire. Congratulations. Breida
Searching for the edge and comes up with no gain. Joe Dillon was chasing him out.
And you're trying to figure out why the numbers just haven't been there for Breida. I remember when he was just a freshman. I mean, he was a racehorse. He was a home run hitter. And when he got on the edge on the perimeter like that, he would take it to the house. Definitely had that breakaway speed. Then he bulked up a little bit and added some mass. It really started to impress with the ability to run in between the tackles. And now I just think it's more so to do with the new offensive scheme coming in. Maybe not as comfortable with the reads as he had been before.
Breida is met immediately. Now Breida coming up short on 3rd down, and a nice stop by Otha Peters at the point of attack.
And the key is, let's see, is there any place for him to run? I mean, that's the key to running back. You have to look the zone play and great gap control by the Ragin' Cajuns. Otha Peters, fantastic job, and Tremaine Lightfoot. And that's how you have to stop a racehorse. You have to really crowd his space. And right now, the defensive line for Louisiana Lafayette, along with those linebackers, continuing the running game.
Gary Haynes back to receive this punt. Flynn with a great punt, and Haynes has to dive back at his own 25. After an uninspiring drive for Georgia Southern, a 43-yard punt for Matt Flynn. Well, this college football season, you can stream every single ESPN game live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Get it downloaded before the weekend. All 3 of those games you mentioned with the top 3 teams in the college football playoff, you can watch them. Also have Ohio State and Maryland coming up this weekend. Another big weekend. You got to get those apps going on your phone, Jay. You got all the ESPN apps, right?
I keep it. I travel a lot, just like you. You have to have that.
Louisiana Lafayette returning to work, as is Anthony Jennings, spelling the freshman Dion Ray. And Jennings rolling out, looking for a target, looking to the sideline and into coverage. This is caught by Elijah McGuire. Okay, he can haul it in as well. 28 yards.
Coming out of the backfield, really gets on his horse, wheeling down the sideline and shows the athleticism as he goes up to make a fantastic catch with an oncoming defender applying the blow.
Now they're ratcheting up the tempo. End around, Haynes searching for space, and a huge hit from Jesse Liptrot stops him in his tracks. A gain of 4 after all of that. We know this Louisiana Lafayette team has all the pieces to work it, and this is historically, at least within the last 5-6 years, a team that loves to run on up-tempo, that PlayStation-style offense they ran a couple years ago.
But with the running game being hampered and a new quarterback, they've just slowed down a little bit. Now we're starting to see Raging Cajun offense on a high level.
Off play action, Jennings downfield, and a one-on-one coverage brings out a flag. Christian Matthew was shadowing Gabe Fuselier, and I wonder if this is defensive PI.
They're calling it tight on the outside if it is. I mean, this is really, they're just throwing the ball up for grabs. It's a 50-50 opportunity.
Pass interference on the defense, number 13. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And you have to be aware of this. They're calling it this tight. I mean, they're just letting them play football, but they're flagging. The defender has a right to kind of go for the ball. He was riding him a little bit, not so much a push.
Yeah, I think that little extra effort at the end got it.
It's tight, but I just say I don't think any sideline would have complained had there not been a flag.
Right. Well, this might change things, though. We saw that last drive on the score. Cajuns ran the ball the whole time. This drive, they've been chucking it up for grabs. Thanks to a spectacular catch by Elijah McGuire. They have eaten into Georgia Southern territory. This is Haynes once again. And he's drilled down after a 5-yard pickup. Jay Beautry came in on a late flag as well. Wonder if this is some sort of unsportsmanlike or personal foul after the fact.
It was a nice open field tackle, stopped him in his tracks. You wonder, did he say something or did he step over him?
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, number 26. That penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down. That is the first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game for number 26.
All right, what do we see?
Great tackle in the open field, delivered how you like it.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, I like football, but that's deliberate. And you just can't do that. You can't do that. You cost your team 15 yards. You made the great open field tackle. Let it go. Let that be enough play. And Coach Summers has a right to talk to his defender on the sideline.
And as a result, the Cajuns will start the second quarter ever closer to the goal line. Already up by a score in Statesboro. 7-3 lead for the Raging Cajuns on the road, trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. And they've had their way with Georgia Southern to begin this game. Jordan Davis in at quarterback. That might be a late fumble. And Georgia Southern has it. Joshua Moon with the recovery. Louisiana Lafayette, thanks to a couple Georgia Southern penalties, had been driving well into Eagle territory, and that is a monumental break early in this game.
Curious why they don't have Deion Ray in here running the sweeps on the outside. You bring in a backup quarterback, and that's just a great tackle, putting the helmet on the football by Moquavion Brinson, the true freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. Shoulder on football, dislodges the ball in the field of play, and Georgia Southern recovers.
And for a team that takes such good care of the ball, that's what Mark Hudspeth repeated to us 3 or 4 times earlier this week. That's only the 3rd time they've lost a fumble this season. And only the 10th turnover overall for the Cajuns this year. How might that change the complexion of this game early on? Seth Schumann with a quick completion to B.J. Johnson, getting close to the first down marker. And they will give him the first. Christian Goodlet on the tackle late. But Louisiana Lafayette was getting virtually no resistance from Georgia Southern. How quick things change.
And you could have put a team that likes to run the ball down by 2 scores in the trail position. Instead, Georgia Southern comes away with the turnover. Now they've got signs of life, still down by just 4.
L.A. Ramsby back in the game. Gets the carry here, diving for 3. That's a good sign for Eagles fans. He was out limping on his first touch of the game, but returns here. Ramsby 3 years ago as a senior in high school, one of the top players in the state of Ohio. He'll take some Wildcat snaps today. Here he is on the draw play, gets pushed back immediately. This gang tackle, Kevon Perry for the Ragin' Cajuns in on the stop, a loss of 2.
Just trying to force a square peg into a circular hole. It's just not there. Take a look at all the white jerseys pre-snap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 jerseys around the line of scrimmage. Tough to run the football when you only have 5 blockers in the game. Just not going to happen. Got to throw the football in that situation.
Brings up a 3rd and long. They're forced to throw again. This is caught in the slant by Johnson, and he has nobody back except for Tracy Walker. That's a touchdown-saving tackle on a 54-yard catch and run.
They want to crowd the box. Take what the defense gives you. It's elementary football, just a nice slant pattern, quick release, accurately thrown ball allows him to run after the catch. Becomes a foot race. Not quite able to outrun the last Louisiana Lafayette defender.
It's a tremendous play from Walker, who was originally from Brunswick, Georgia, about an hour south of here on I-95. Upwards of 40 family members in attendance got to see that tackle. As Breida carries on 1st down, picking up 3 for the Eagles. Tackle from Zavera Miller. And Matt Breida, you mentioned it earlier, if you're running right into that wall, there's not much you can do.
And they're not backing off. So even though they got hurt by the slant pattern on the prior play, they're still coming out playing man-to-man coverage, keeping 8 men close to the line of scrimmage, trying to clog the running lanes. So now they've gone to a 3-4 front, but you still have 7 guys close to the line of scrimmage with one-on-one coverage in the secondary.
Schumann is swarmed. He gets rid of it quickly for his own sake. Jay Johnson, the intended target. Schumann felt heat quickly.
And what they're saying defensively, the defensive coordinator, Charlie Harbison, is saying, Seth Schumann, you're going to have to throw the football to beat us. You move the ball down the field, but once you start getting close to the red zone, passing lanes become a little bit tighter. Do they have enough confidence in the young freshman to continue to throw the football and try and attack this Ragin' Cajun defense?
Question is not arm strength. He has that. It's accuracy. Schumann, there's the arm strength. And there's some accuracy. B.J. Johnson getting popped towards the end of the play, but he has a 1st down for Georgia Southern.
I like this. They're simplifying the playbook. What are they giving them? We call this Seattle route. Just a double slant pattern. You clear it out. You come in behind it, accurately thrown ball. This is not hard. It's not hard. Easy throw. One guy clears it out. The other guy opens up the window. And if you can make an accurate throw, they're giving you a free release to the inside for the 1st down.
Breida stumbled past a 1st tackle and then got met on a 2nd. Pickup of 1. This is, for Georgia Southern, good at least to see some positive yardage on 1st down plays from their number 1 running back. And a player injured for Louisiana Lafayette afterwards. This looked like both the Peters, who I don't believe made heavy contact on the play. I think this was away from the point of attack. Check that. That is Joe Dillon, a freshman who has been a tremendous cog in this defensive unit. They call the bandit spot one of their linebackers. He's really stepped up where injuries have hurt the Cajuns, and he himself may be hurt here. Six sacks on the season for Dillon, and that would be a major loss for Louisiana Lafayette if he can't return.
Particularly when it comes to the run support. You know, when you lose Dillon, you bring in another freshman back up at that bandit position, but they really need Joe Dillon to not only attack the passer when they're throwing the football, but in run support against this option offense. What a change of events. Lafayette had all the momentum as they're going into the end zone, preparing to put some points on the board, and they fumble. Now, good team comes back. Georgia Southern comes right back, and now they've got Louisiana Lafayette on the ropes.
The Cajuns without one of their top linebackers. Schumann to the end zone and too tall for B.J. Johnson. He threw that one on a line, didn't he?
Yeah, I missed it. He missed it one of the few times he's been inaccurate throwing the football. Seam route up the middle. Johnson went untouched, but you have to squeeze it in a tight window. Just a little bit off with the location of the throw.
Schumann, as we mentioned, drafted by the Baltimore Orioles. Great middle infielder. Picked up in the 39th round of the MLB draft this summer. But by his sophomore year, he's going to have to pick one, baseball or football. Schumann being chased, gets away and throws it away. Finally met some contact towards the end of it. Jarvis Jeffries.
Thought about running, and at the last minute decided to get rid of it. Don't leave your feet. A lot of bad things happen to quarterbacks when they get airborne. Trust me.
And now Younghoe Koo will attempt the chip shot from 27. Easy work of it for 3. Georgia Southern gets points out of it, taking advantage of the Cajuns' turnover, who they themselves had been driving. 1-point game in Statesboro.
ESPNU College Football is brought to you by Cabela's. Get to Cabela's for all your hunting, fishing, camping, and outdoor needs.
This is the creek next to the practice field at Georgia Southern. They go in that creek. They take some water from it. They take it with them on the road. Special significance for Eagle Creek.
And I like that when you have the university president, President Hebert,
That's right.
getting wet with you. You appreciate that.
They appreciate the tradition so much in Statesboro. A program that really had only been restarted in the 1980s. Was a club program briefly, then played at FCS for a long while, several national championships. This will be taken by Varnado for a touchback. A long line of tradition here at Georgia Southern. Of course, Jay, November 11th tomorrow. That means the start of college basketball season, and we've got the Armed Forces Classic to kick things off. 2 marquee matchups, Arizona and Michigan State. Bunch of talented newcomers on both of those teams. And then Indiana and Kansas to cap it off. Question for Indiana, who will step up and fill the shoes vacated by Yogi Ferrell of the Armed Forces Classic beginning tomorrow at 7 on ESPN. A lot of question marks for a lot of teams heading into the college basketball season. It all kicks off tomorrow on the big network. 2-yard pickup for Elijah McGuire on first down. Now, Jay, how does Louisiana Lafayette respond after the turnover?
I think you just go back to your game plan. If you were going to throw the football, you keep throwing the football. One thing of concern, Elijah McGuire doesn't seem to have that burst. That last run there, settled for 2 or 3 yards, afraid to really let loose on that injury.
Jennings using the protection as a screen.
You see how ginger he was running?
Yeah.
And that's not him. He's an explosive back. He's giving you everything that he has, but right now, I just think it's not there as he's coming out. I mean, he's trying hard, but he's becoming a detriment to you offensively. And that's where you got to think, if you're Anthony Jennings, then maybe you become the running game a little bit more. More goes on his shoulders.
7-yard pickup on that play, maybe 9 or 10 if he's fully healthy. 3rd and short. Jennings looking for the hole. He has it, bouncing to the outside. And Anthony Jennings using his feet to get into Georgia Southern territory. 26 yards for the former LSU Tiger.
Yeah, this is a good job of letting this play set up. You see the right guard, number 75, Kevin Dotson, pull and get up to that linebacker, get in his chest. And that's the block that really sprung Anthony Jennings. Once again, Kevin Dotson, he's a freshman. We've already talked about the freshman Robert Hunt at the left guard. How about Kevin Dotson, the freshman right guard from Louisiana?
Making his 8th start already as a freshman this year. And the protection, this falls incomplete, nearly intercepted, but the protection has been tremendous, Jay.
Good job protecting the quarterback. One thing that Georgia Southern doesn't do defensively well, they don't really get after the quarterback. Single digits in sacks on the season. And the one thing that Louisiana Lafayette has struggled with has been pass protection, and we're seeing that play out here where their quarterback has plenty of time.
Jordan Wright, another freshman. Pick up of 3 on second down for the Cajuns. And a 3rd and 7 upcoming. Louisiana Lafayette coming off a 23-13 loss to Idaho. You mentioned the upstart Vandals this year, but this team only had 96 yards of total offense in the second half. They want to get this jump started. And they're unable to get the 3rd down conversion. Gary Haynes gets popped short of the line to gain. Sean Freeman with a monster hit.
I wouldn't be surprised if they elected to go for it here, just short a yard or so, and it's not chip shot territory with the field goal unit out there.
Told us earlier this week, any 4th down and short play, they're going to go for it.
So they brought in number 63 of the end man on the line of scrimmage. He's an offensive lineman lining up in the tight end position.
Jennings searching for it and has the 1st down.
And them bringing in Reynard Ford to play tight end really helping. That eventually ended up being the hole for Anthony Jennings to win. You're going to see him here do a nice down block here, create that room and separation when the initial hole's not there. A lot of mass over there on that side. Found a crease to run behind and pick up the 1st down.
Cajuns again using the ground attack to eat up this Georgia Southern defense. And again, a nice run for Jennings. This on 1st down. A pickup of 8.
And Jennings picks up good yards, but a great ball fake by Elijah McGuire. Good job by the senior. When you can't be an impact player running the ball, great play action to really distract the Eagles defense.
Jennings lobs this to the end zone. Gary Haynes unable to come up with it. Joshua Moon shadowing him step for step.
You have to make this catch. If you're Gary Haynes, this is twice I thought some passes that he should have come down with the football. Lines up in the slot, and this ball's thrown. You make that catch. So hard to come up with a touchdown reception. You put 2 hands on the football, you have to come down with that football if you're Gary Haynes.
Even Haynes has battled the injury bug. Key 3rd down for Georgia Southern in this 1st half. McGuire searching for room and has the 1st down.
That offset formation again where they snuck in Reynard Ford again. The extra lineman leaving the field now, but they bring him in there to play tight end. Does a good job of winning his matchup and enables McGuire to pick up the 1st down.
And for an offensive line that's allowed 23 sacks this year, the protection has been superb.
Every now and then it's in the numbers. A defense that doesn't get to the quarterback and an offensive line that can't protect their quarterback, it's been a wash.
Ray
Nice.
escapes the tackle, and he's in for the touchdown. Dion Ray with a 16-yard run to extend the lead for the Ragin' Cajuns.
I said earlier, when he comes in the game, they're playing flag football. Number 1 play flag football, sweep left, sweep right. And look at all the linemen, the entourage pulling in front. Kevin Dotson, Eddie Gordon, the center, got around there. That's how you draw it up, a nice entourage and great block out front by Raymond Fillet as well.
11 plays, 75 yards, most of it on the ground. And Stevie RT tacks on the PAT to extend the lead. Freshman quarterback Dion Ray, a third option for the Ragin' Cajuns. They're up 14-6. Next Thursday in prime time, a tasty Sun Belt matchup might decide the Sun Belt Championship. Appalachian State at Troy we'll have that for you on Saturday first, and then next week, even more coming your way. Arkansas State still undefeated in conference play, and Troy under Neil Brown, they've done such a tremendous job getting that program up to where I think a lot of folks thought it could be. As you take a look at the Sun Belt standings, 3 teams undefeated at the top. App State and Troy, though, first game to come up this Saturday. What can you say about what both teams have done this year?
Hey, I think Troy's been the surprise story by far. They finally got it together. Brandon Silver's throwing the ball very well. App State, Taylor Lamb, great quarterback play with both those teams. But don't sleep on Arkansas State. Blake Anderson, the Red Wolf squad, has been here before. Last season got off to a slow start, but went undefeated in conference play. Last I checked, they're still undefeated in conference play. So this Sun Belt title is clearly up for grabs.
Miles Campbell across the 25. Let's take you back to the touchdown.
I really like when you see pulling guards and pulling centers. Watch the center come around and get his man, and the guard come outside of him with a great lead block by the running back. You have to give him credit for that. When you can choreograph it like that, big 300-pounders hitting defensive backs in the secondary, that's the look you love to have. It's like playing John Madden. You play Madden football, they have the diagram of who you're supposed to block, but it never quite happens. Well, on that sweep right, it happened. There was a man-on-a-man, perfect execution by the Ragin' Cajuns.
Well, and a guy who, although we knew he was going to get some touches today, he's been a pretty significant feature in the Ragin' Cajuns offense. After all that running, not much for Seth Schumann on first down, only a yard off of Peters, took him down. But Georgia Southern now, you want to talk about a team that needs some sort of spark rushing. Lafayette's found it. Georgia Southern's still searching.
Yeah, and I think what you have to do is you probably have to get Matt Breida involved in the passing game. Give him a screen pass, something, because Louisiana Lafayette, they're not budging. They continue to crowd the line of scrimmage. There's nowhere to go. Right there, there's not a hole for him to run to. Their numbers, you've got 7 defenders going against 5 blockers. And you just can't win that matchup.
A 68-yard rushing touchdown last week. And Matt Breida has been met with resistance virtually every time tonight. Like 10 yards rushing for Breida tonight. And that's your featured back. A team that historically runs the option so well.
Breida 9 carries for 11 yards tonight. Ouch.
Another third down and long as a result. Schumann sees the hole. He'll go for it. And he'll extend to get near the pylon, or near the marker, I should say. Demarion Mitchell finally brought him down. But you're right, that's a great effort to know where that line is.
A great effort from the coach's kid. When you talk to the coach, they say, hey, his father's a coach down there in Valdosta, Georgia. Knew he might have been getting close to the first down mark. Extended for every yard once he saw the first down marker with his peripheral vision, leaned forward with the stretch and picked up the first down. Nice play, Seth Schumann.
The first start of his collegiate career. That's a solid completion for B.J. Johnson. Getting a first down and more past midfield. 13 yards. He's been the top target all season long, no matter who's at quarterback for Georgia Southern.
They say Johnson's an NFL talent. Nice long stride, great with deep balls, but I'm really impressed with how he's running with the short routes, the intermediate routes, making the catch and picking up yards after contact.
Eagles into Cajuns territory. 103 yards receiving already for B.J. Johnson. First touch for Malik Henry today. And he has a first down.
I like it because Lafayette's not budging. They're continuing to crowd the box, saying we don't think you're going to throw the ball in consecutive downs. And now we're starting to see Schumann recognize that, take advantage, Like the one-on-one coverage you're getting on the outside, that's easy.
It's not necessarily the wrong approach. Georgia Southern has the fewest pass attempts.
See, right now, again, they're daring you. They're daring you to run the football again. Not there. Can't do it.
Ramsby in, getting the direct snap, a 2-yard pickup.
Go back to football one-on-one, Alex. The number one thing you can do to a quarterback, the easiest game plan to execute is the defense that's not blitzing and they're playing man-to-man. Because all you do is just find a matchup. Now, if they're blitzing, you have to know your protection. But as a freshman quarterback, if you're Seth Schumann, you have to say, Coach, just throw the ball. I can pick a matchup, and we play catch. You just play catch with your wide receivers, and that's what he has an opportunity to do. Play catch.
There you go. That's all it takes sometimes.
Pitching and catching, finding a matchup that you like. You're starting to see Schumann feel more comfortable in this football game.
And these aren't even the first and second targets. Hampton McConnell's first touch. And you get a sense, there it is. They've already passed their season average in passing yards.
The offense still won't budge, still keeping 7 guys close to the line of scrimmage, so you have to throw the football, and there it is. It's easy. Take it. You know, you always hear the term, take what the defense gives you. This is a pure display. The Raging Cajuns aren't even disguising their coverage. And finally, Georgia Southern says, we're not going to be hard and try and run the ball into a brick wall. We'll take what you give us, and they're moving the ball down the field.
Top target, B.J. Johnson, north of 100 yards. And the Eagles in business on this drive. Ramsby to the right of Schumann on second down. Schumann lobbing well out of play over top of Malik Henry, the intended target. Bringing up third down. Well, we heard from Tyson Summers, this is a quarterback-driven offense. And it's up to their quarterback now to get them the first down conversion, but it's been working on this drive.
And they don't have the touchdown yet, so I try something creative. Move the pocket. Get the young freshman out in space where they can't find the quarterback release point. Maybe allow your wide receivers a half a second longer to get open against their man-to-man coverage.
Eagles 4 for 8 on third down.
In a hurry.
Did they get it off in time?
Timeout, hope. Probably. Thought I saw Tyson Summers calling a timeout.
And he did.
Smart.
He was racing down the sideline to get it called, and he did just that.
Timeout. Georgia Southern.
Well,
that
under
is
2
their
minutes
first
to
time
go
out of the half. This will be a 30-second
in the first half, and Georgia Southern not wanting to get backed up further and be forced into a field goal situation, asking for time. We mentioned we've got the top 3 teams in the college football playoff rankings on our air this weekend. Alabama can clinch the SEC West and book their trip to Atlanta with a win and an Auburn loss this weekend. Clemson, as we mentioned, undefeated in their last 46 against unranked teams. And then Michigan, who just continue to pile up points, taking no prisoners, so to speak. Last road game for the Wolverines before their showdown with Ohio State on Thanksgiving weekend. All 3 games streaming on Watch ESPN.
Everybody thought that Michigan Harbaugh was just all fluff during the offseason. Wolverines getting it done during the regular season as well, still attracting all the major headlines.
Earning style points all the while, as Jim Harbaugh is wont to do. Big third down for Georgia Southern now. And this is fit into a tight window. B.J. Johnson has it. A first down for Georgia Southern. Their top target, again, gets it done.
Another slant route, not hard. You're going to see the second man come through and make the slant. This is where the ball's going to be delivered. That makes it easy. Get a free release, squeeze it in a tight window. First down, Eagles.
No huddle, quick throw, touchdown. Miles Campbell. Well, the defense was giving it to him, and they took it, all 6 of them.
Yeah, just found a crease and stuck it in there when they tried to play zone coverage. Raging Cajuns not ready for it, and Is Georgia Southern becoming a spread offense to pass the football? I don't know if that goes well here in the school of Irk Russell and Tracy Ham and all those guys. You have to stick to the option. But the fans seem to enjoy the way they move the ball down the field, passing the football.
We got to do something to try to snap this rut. Younghoe Koo for the extra point. And he tacks it on to make it a 1-point deficit. Miles Campbell's third touchdown of the season. All of a sudden, the Georgia Southern Eagles throwing the ball around the yard. Well, Georgia Southern, good old triple option team, throwing the ball a bit on that last drive to bring them within a point. Alex Faust and Jay Walker here with you in Statesboro, Georgia. It is homecoming. All the traditions are, they've been pulling out all the stops all weekend, with the exception of ground and pound football.
Of the option, yeah. Maybe it's a new tradition, them throwing the football. The young quarterback, Seth Schumann, picked apart the Louisiana Lafayette secondary in that last drive.
6 for 7 on that last drive. 117 yards passing today. Not bad for your first collegiate start. We're not even done with the first half. Varnado. A bit of contact to start. The flag came in. Second one as well. This is around the kick coverage area. See what Charles Lewis observed. Now Lafayette might be able to
bring the return. Illegal block in the back on the receiving team, number 36. A penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal, 1st and 10, Louisiana Lafayette.
Louisiana Lafayette might have a bit of trouble after getting backed up. We will show you Freedom, the Eagle, after break. Homecoming in Statesboro, Georgia, as we take you on our backstage pass. But this is an every game type thing. Early in the morning, well, you have a live mascot you got to go get and got to go give some breakfast to. This is Freedom, adopted by the university in 1960 as their symbol. Getting pampered every step of the way. Of course, got to go get some breakfast. This is Steve Hine, Freedom's handler, picking up some fish early this morning, and then a police escort.
That's how you arrive at the stadium.
That's how you get in.
And they call it when he's released in the most exciting 30 seconds of pregame football in the country. And I'd have to agree, I'm on the edge of my seat looking for the bald eagle to fly around, our nation's symbol. Today, did a good show today.
Yeah, gave him a couple laps around. Was hamming it up for the cameras a little bit here.
Well, they knew you were here, Alex.
Of course.
He went to put on a good show for you your first time in Statesboro.
16-yard pickup for Elijah McGuire. Under a minute to go in the half, and now Riles over the middle. A first down for the Cajuns.
Best throw of the night by Anthony Jennings. Anticipating where the soft spot in the defense was, stuck it in between the linebacker and the safety.
16 and then 17. Back-to-back chunk plays, looking for a third, and they've got it! Keenan Barnes hauls this in along the sidelines. And the Cajuns still with all 3 timeouts, a boatload of time, 33 ticks on the clock after a 19-yard catch.
How about Seth Schumann? I'm not going to watch you just move down the field. The senior Anthony Jennings showing you that he can throw the football as well.
This is classic Cajun-style football. Dumped off to McGuire short, and he'll scamper out to stop the clock.
And once again, the lack of pass rush continues to show for Georgia Southern. They just cannot get to the quarterback. The 4-man rush, 3-man rush. This is not a great pass protecting line for Louisiana Lafayette, but Jennings has all day to go through his progressions.
A lot of inexperienced players there, but the time has been large amounts of time. He has it again in the coverage. And is this caught? Oh my! How about Keenan Barnes? Clock stops to move the chains on a 22-yard catch.
Well, they say he's a good one, using his size, 6'3", frame. Good job of elevating on this matchup. Christian Matthew, he's a tall cornerback as well. He's 6'3", but he loses his footing. And great job of elevating by Keenan Barnes. A lot of holding going on there. Both sides, let them play. Let them play. In that case there, the offense comes away with it.
19 yards and then 22 yards on back-to-back catches for Keenan Barnes, who has 5 touchdown catches this season. Sophomore from Madison, Mississippi. Now the Cajuns are in business. Took them under a minute to get inside the red zone.
And they went a long way because they started this drive deep in their own possession after the penalty on the kickoff return. And Anthony Jennings just looking really comfortable, the quarterback for Louisiana Lafayette.
First and goal from the 10. Jennings still has it, and he's still on his feet. Anthony Jennings with the touchdown to extend the Ragin' Cajuns lead.
Great job of showing patience by Anthony Jennings. Watch him set up the block by Darius Hoggins, number 23. Waits for the little running back to get in the way, then finds the end zone. Good patience. You see here, he's going to take a hop step, wait, then explode for the final 10 yards needed to get the ball in the end zone.
6 plays, 92 yards, 65 seconds. If you've been watching Louisiana Lafayette football for a while, that's a throwback. Put together a quick drive to extend the lead to 8. I think what was just as impressive towards the end of that was getting away from Ironhead Gallen, who is averaging 9 tackles per game, 5th best in the league, one of the top tacklers, one of the top linebackers in the league, and he just pulled away from that tackle.
Yeah, Gallen, their best football player. When you talk to the coach, he's the best leader, best everything we have on the defense. And that just shows you the smart football IQ of Anthony Jennings, allowing the blocker to get in the way. Not to say that Hoggins was going to blow Ironhead Gallen off the ball, but he just allowed him to get in the way and then was able to find the end zone. Impressive response by the Ragin' Cajuns.
Already approaching 300 yards of offense. They struggled big time to find anything against Idaho and have managed to light up this Georgia Southern defense.
And this is a good game. You figured both teams are going to lay it all on the line. Neither team can afford another loss. You're fighting for bowl eligibility and postseason football week in and week out. Both coaches knew this was a huge game, and their teams have responded. Very entertaining first half of football.
Get the kick on the ground and taken quickly by Shelby Townsend, who runs in to a pile.
Said it was an entertaining half of football. Often you see a defensive lineman get the kickoff and run and get popped for doing it.
Not sure that was exactly a wise decision on the part of Shelby Copeland, but that takes us to halftime. Cajuns will also get the ball to start the second half. That first half took some twists and turns, Jay.
It did, and a team that we thought would have to run the football to establish control in Georgia Southern came out throwing the ball, and then it was early on Louisiana Lafayette running the ball. We don't know what's going to happen in the second half.
8-point lead for the Ragin' Cajuns, trying to stop a 3-game losing streak on the road. Georgia Southern had made this a 1-point game, and then Louisiana Lafayette got the ball back to end that first half. It only took him 65 seconds to come downfield. But first, let's talk about this freshman quarterback for Georgia Southern. Seth Schumann comes in for his first career start, and he's performed pretty well.
Yeah, really utilized the quick passing game. Everything short in front of him, getting the most out of his pre-snap read, and the wide receivers have helped him out, gaining lots of yardage after the catch. That really helped him get his confidence. Not a lot of throws beyond 10 yards, but he's been effective in picking where he's going with the football. Great location in here. That was a touchdown score that made it a 1-point game.
And then the Cajuns got the ball back, and it didn't take them very long.
But they went 92 yards in 65 seconds, and Anthony Jennings, that was the best throw he made all day. Tucked that ball in a nice spot, but the great athletes on the outside, Keenan Barnes helped him out several times with the 50-50 jump ball, coming down with the football, using his size there. Impressive drive in response by Louisiana Lafayette, and the quarterback Jennings called his own number to increase the lead.
That may have been the most impressive part of that drive, getting away from the would-be tackle from Ironhead Gowan.
You didn't like that first throw he had? That first throw he had was pro.
Great
to
throw.
start the drive.
Coming from a quarterback.
Yeah, with quarterbacks, we don't get excited about running the football. We got excited about threading the needle, baby.
Well, we saw a few clips in your Gimme 5 of your back foot throws,
Yeah, hit him in
showing
stride.
off a little
You
bit.
have to hit him in stride. That's what counts.
Of course, the Cajuns trying to get some kind of spark. It's a team that only averages 22 points per game. And they're right under that mark so far. Can they close it out? That's the question. Tyler Bass on the kickoff, and it bounces into the end zone for a touchback. Take a look at these halftime numbers. The staggering one, not only the 296 yards, how about the 30
Yeah.
for Georgia Southern on the ground?
The 30 yards really shows up to me. 30 yards rushing, that's the key figure there. But they've overcome that. They've thrown the football for that additional yardage. And that's why this football game's been competitive in the time of possession. They've owned it. But Louisiana Lafayette is showing they're going to air the ball out, that quick strike offense with Anthony Jennings.
To be fair, both teams have gone back and forth a little bit. It's not been more than a one-possession game since the outset. Elijah McGuire is immediately met in the backfield. Strong tackle by Trey Griffin for a 1-yard loss. The Raging Cajuns, that last drive, used Jennings' arm and then at the end of it, his legs. The run game, though, has been somewhat steady for them.
And that's why I think they should come out and continue to air the football out, throw the ball, increase this lead, get up by more than just 8 points, put Georgia Southern behind the 8 ball.
This will wind up in the 5th row of the crowd. Injury behind the play, and this is to Trey Griffin, who just made that tackle for loss.
Griffin seemed to be grabbing his helmet as if his ears were ringing there. Might have had contact with a hard collision with the ground.
This was well behind the play, too, because Jennings got rid of the ball fairly quick.
Good to see him hop up like that.
Take a look at the right side of your screen, 94 in blue.
Trey. That looked like just, that was the ear hole shot.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And that's one that the officials missed. Helmet to helmet's not tolerated offensively or defensively. In that case there, Elijah McGuire went ear hole Trey Griffin. And his ears ringing and got away with the shot that should have been a penalty call.
That's a personal foul. If you read the letter of the law. Leading with the crown of your helmet. Jennings well protected again, and he finds McGuire. Tackled short of the sticks by Leagueway.
That's the difference. Not able to pull away from him. Great job by McGuire getting out the route, but only at around 50% right now.
And now the punt unit will come on. We know that Mark Hudspeth wants to be aggressive, but I doubt he wants to be that cavalier. This is the first 3 and out of the game for the Raging Cajuns of Georgia Southern. Much needed stop to begin this second half. Monte Crockett back deep for the Eagles. And the Australian Stephen Coots with a high spiraling punt. Fair catch at the 18. A couple yards perhaps that Crockett could have attempted a run back on, but a 53-yard punt will start the Eagles inside their own, and I should say it's the 13-yard line, not the 18. But that brings Seth Schumann back out of the field. We were both impressed by what he was able to put together in that first half.
Yeah, and I want to see what the adjustments are going to be. Is Louisiana Lafayette going to continue to play man-to-man coverage and make it easy pickings for Seth Schumann? It is Georgia Southern. Are they going to throw the ball a little bit more down the field, more vertically? They took advantage of all the underneath stuff. Do they trust the young freshman to throw the ball down the field further?
Only a freshman, a true freshman.
And early indications, Lafayette's not backing off of keeping 7 men around the line of scrimmage. They're more concerned about Matt Breida's legs than they are the arm of Seth Schumann still.
And it wasn't so much deep balls, Jay. They were throwing it short and letting their legs take care of the rest of it.
That's utilizing the underneath passing game, making the reads very easy for the young freshman quarterbacking.
That's startling.
Very much so, but you see why. I mean, it still hasn't changed. If you look at the number of white jerseys around the football, 7 men there at all time. They are not sacrificing their run coverage.
They rush 4, and this is almost intercepted. Dangerous ball from Schumann. Dillon nearly came up with it.
Great job buzzing underneath it. You see him on the right side of your screen, number 3. Settle, read the quarterback's eyes, make a break, and just missed the interception.
Joe Dillon left the game earlier. Good to see him back. Now a lengthy 3rd down for Georgia Southern. Schumann zipped that on the crossing pattern for B.J. Johnson, but off his fingertips, and a 3 and out for the Eagles to start the second half.
Both teams' offenses slow down a little bit.
Three and outs for each side to begin the second half. Georgia Southern, I mentioned the 3-game losing streak for Louisiana Lafayette. This Georgia Southern team hasn't exactly been playing all that well of late. Just 1 win in their last 6 tries as Flynn knocks this back to midfield, but surely the Cajuns will take the flipping field position. A 39-yard punt, but near midfield to start Louisiana Lafayette. Top 3 teams in the college football playoff rankings all in action on ESPN networks this weekend. Mississippi State, Alabama starts it off at noon. Clemson, Pitt at 3:30 on ABC. And then Saturday Night Football, Michigan on the road at Iowa, 8 o'clock on ABC. All 3 games streaming live on Watch ESPN. You could debate the strength of schedule for Michigan, but their defense top in FBS football, and they're putting up a few points here or there as well for Jim Harbaugh's squad. Of course, the top 4 teams all undefeated. Louisiana Lafayette, 8.5 yards per play, and that play about at their season average. Deion Ray back into the game at quarterback, and they pick up about 8.5 yards on first down.
Yeah, when Ray comes in the game, they are running the football. 3rd string quarterback on the depth chart, but they want him in there for the legs.
A delayed handoff this time, and Raymond Calais. He has enough for the first down. And that's actually Jordan Wrights on the carry, redshirt freshman. Has one rushing touchdown this season. That Georgia Southern defensive line has had their work cut out for them, and it's not letting up. Off the play fake, Ray keeps it, and Ray somehow stays on his feet through all of this. Forward progress marked after a 3-yard gain. William Bussey finally brought him down.
A lot of open space, and that just shows you the lack of penetration by Georgia Southern on the defensive line. The fact that Ray was able to cut all the way back against the field when the first hole had exhausted the yards that he was able to gain, and still able to run around for a couple seconds before being brought down. They're just not getting any penetration on the defensive line from Georgia Southern.
Last week, the Cajuns struggled in the second half to try to keep pace with Idaho. So far, so good on this drive. And Ray takes off. He's got a lot of room and heads to the sidelines. Chased out by Joshua Moon, but a first down once again for the Raging Cajuns.
Great kickout block by Craig Smith on top of your screen on the right. Sets him up like it's a pass, opens up that baits Trey Griffin in to rush the quarterback and allows DeAndre a wide open running lane on the right side.
This is essentially the third string quarterback being rotated in. Anthony Jennings, Jordan Davis, the top two on the depth chart, and DeAndre, redshirt freshman from New Orleans.
And they're not going to throw the ball. See, when you show them two safeties up here high, then they win the battle. They want you to keep two safeties high so they can continue to run the football.
And they do just that. And they get positive results again. Darius Hoggins with a 4-yard pickup. Hoggins, another one of these guys who's been given a bigger share of the workload after McGuire has been battling injuries. Signed with the same recruiting class as McGuire, but hasn't seen too many touches. Moved to wide receiver. Spent most of his career as a special teams player. McGuire returns for the Cajuns. And it is McGuire who dives ahead and brings up a 3rd down and short.
In these situations, Anthony Jennings has been the best running option for the Raging Cajuns.
Remember, he was recruited by LSU as a dual threat quarterback. He was one of the top dual threat quarterbacks in that class. But obviously, things did not turn out in terms of playing time as he would have liked. Louisiana Lafayette takes their first time out of the half. Mark Hudspeth will talk it over on their bench. Interesting situation here at 3rd down and 4. Georgia Southern has yet to give up back-to-back scores in this game. It's still a 1-possession game, an 8-point lead for the Raging Cajuns, but you get the feeling, given the way that Louisiana Lafayette's had their way with Georgia Southern's defense, there's a tipping point in this game somewhere.
There is, and the fact has been the Georgia Southern defense has put no pressure on Louisiana Lafayette. Whether they want to throw the ball, the quarterback has all day to sit in the pocket and get comfortable. Running the football with a 3rd-string quarterback who you know is going to run the football, they haven't been able to account for that either. So I think what you have to start doing is get more aggressive if you're Georgia Southern. Maybe blitz your linebackers in Eligwe and Gallen and see if they can create some havoc. Here comes Gallen in the A-gap.
They do bring pressure. Jennings gets away from it and nearly got the first down had it not been for a drop by their tight end, Nick Byrne. He's usually sure-handed, and there was nobody near him.
Yeah, but nice adjustment. You're going to see Ironhead Gallen chasing down the quarterback, forcing Jennings to leave the pocket for one of the few times tonight. I like the call by defensive coordinator Lorenzo Constantini. Realizing the defensive line wasn't getting it done, get your best football player, Ironhead Gallen, chasing after the quarterback.
So they go for a 34-yard field goal. Stevie R.T. And he bangs it right down Broadway. It's a 2-possession game. After good field position for Louisiana Lafayette, was converted into points. Largest lead for the Raging Cajuns as they have an 11-point margin over Georgia Southern on the road. Both teams a bit of a losing rut. Louisiana Lafayette having lost 4 out of 5. Georgia Southern 5 out of 6 centering today. And what will the response be for the home side? This is homecoming, don't forget, for Georgia Southern. A frustrating season that may be showing as a microcosm here today. The run game has not worked whatsoever. Miles Campbell and L.A. Ramsby back deep. Ramsby, who we expected to take some snaps at quarterback, got injured on his first touch of the game. Hasn't seen a ton of action since. Short kick. Ramsby, little reverse pitch. And Campbell dancing his way into the swarm and a late flag.
During the return, holding on number 97 of the receiving team. 10 yards from the end of the run, 1st and 10, Georgia Southern.
Louisiana Lafayette rushing defense has been getting to the backfield with ease.
Yeah, and great gap control football. Everybody getting in the gap, holding their ground, just really bottling up Matt Breida with no room to run. Everywhere he looks, their white jerseys surrounding the football, an extra defender in the box, and nobody's really gotten out of their run control lane, and that's been an effective recipe for slowing down this Eagle offense. That's amazing.
Only 30 yards allowed. I mean, Breida, a guy who averages, 5'6", usually, just getting nothing today. B.J. Johnson on the reception and a pickup of 4 on first down for the Eagles, but that's where they found virtually any success is on those quick slant passes.
And I think at this point, Louisiana Lafayette's going to be content to allow them to throw the ball short, tell your defensive secondary, keep everything in front of you, and let's see if Georgia Southern can throw the ball all the way down the field. They are not going to sacrifice their run coverage, though, which has been the thing. It's not there. They're just not going to let you do it. And you're almost wasting your time running the football right now. So what you have to do is have your quarterback, grow up a little bit. When we're outnumbered in the run game, throw the pass. Pull it out. Give it to B.J. Johnson on the outside. Give it to Monte Crockett or Miles Campbell, one of these receivers, and let them run the football because we're running average less than 2 yards a carry.
Yeah, but you're a quarterback, Jay. I mean, his shoes as a true freshman, your first start, are you even given that kind of latitude?
You can count. So right now, that's a situation there where it was bottled up. They had 9 guys in the box that time. He had the confidence throwing the football, and I just think you have to expand on that. Trying to run when they've got 1 or 2 extra defenders in there, you're asking too much from your offensive line and your running backs. I don't care how good they are.
2 3-and-outs to start the second half. Our Georgia Southern team that had already struggled running the football this year. Last year led the country in rushing offense, but they are down 120 yards in their rushing production last year. And they are in anemic territory tonight. This punt bounces at midfield and will be downed on the Georgia Southern side of midfield. Only a 26-yard punt. Well, tomorrow college basketball gets started on ESPN, a Veterans Day doubleheader with the Armed Forces Classic. Arizona and Michigan State up first, and then Indiana and Kansas at 9 o'clock. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Duke, the #1 team in the country for the 8th time in school history as we start this college basketball season. Kansas ranked 3rd in the country. Preseason top 25 for the 11th straight year.
Duke's is getting better. I just saw that Gary Trent Jr. committed today on our network to go to Duke, #8 recruit in the country. Oh, got him.
Oh boy, Al Riles, trick play, wide open. Keenan Barnes can waltz into the end zone. 48 yards for the Ragin' Cajuns.
They caught the defensive back peeking in the backfield. Number 13, Christian Matthews, going to come up and try and help in run support. And when he comes up, he leaves Keenan Barnes all by his lonesome. Easy throw, easy catch, easy touchdown.
You had a sense that the Cajuns at some point would try to go for the jugular. That's a statement. 17 unanswered points for the Cajuns. And on the trick play, Keenan Barnes untouched. Al Riles, as a receiver, was responsible for the longest pass play of the season against South Alabama back in September. Today, he's got the longest pass play as a quarterback. Take a look at this.
Did a good job of selling it. They thought the sweep was coming. The left-handed receiver with the sweep left. No, they didn't get any style points for the spiral, but no style points on the scoreboard. Nice play design by offensive coordinator Jorge Munoz.
Style points for the play call.
For the play call, not on the delivery. You got to tighten up that spiral.
I'm sure that's what they're chatting about. Well, this game has turned on its ear quickly. Miles Campbell, mid immediately. And popped hard. Kick coverage has been terrific from the Cajuns tonight as well. That's Corey Turner, who has been terrific on special teams for the Cajuns this year, responsible for their only blocked kick this year. And he lit up Miles Campbell well before he could get his engines churning. What now for Georgia Southern?
Well, it's gut check time. I think your season is on the line. Right now they know they have to win 3 of their next 4 games. And they still have University of Georgia on the schedule. So right now, you leave it all on the table. You need to score to respond to what Louisiana Lafayette has done here in the second half to separate from you. And you just got to trust your quarterback, and hopefully Matt Breida can get off as well.
That's a good start. B.J. Johnson with the completion. And for the Cajuns, they have to be careful not to add a little bit of extra after the play. Cajuns face Georgia next week. Georgia Southern has Georgia State and Troy to finish up the regular season. But bowl eligibility is perhaps teetering.
My apologies, got the schools confused. Look out.
Schumann, oh, that's dangerous and incomplete. Monte Crockett had to come back from his route. He was about 10 yards deeper and saw that ball coming in short, just raced to get a hand on it however which way he could. Seth Schumann's been asked to do a fair amount here. His first collegiate start, was expected to redshirt this year, don't forget. Injuries really forced Tyson Summers' hands. And Georgia Southern, which has been a pretty good third down team this year,
blitzed them.
Throwing well downfield and incomplete. And that's what the blitz can do.
One of the few times they've elected to throw the ball down the field beyond 10 yards. And Schumann forced to get rid of it early as they brought a blitz from his weak side.
Got hit hard.
Right side of your screen, unblocked, Joe Dillon. If there's anybody that can create havoc in the pass department, pass rush, it's Joe Dillon, able to get a hit on the quarterback and disrupt the throw for an incompletion.
When you're facing one of the top linebackers in the league, a shot like that. Matt Flynn on to punt for Georgia Southern. Takes a couple steps and the rugby-style kick will swerve out of play.
And not only are they losing the football game by 18 points, they're also losing the battle of field position on a consistent basis. Georgia Southern needs to do something different in a hurry.
Usual starting quarterback Kevin Ellison can only watch hopelessly. Out of pads on the sideline. His team trailing by a bunch on homecoming. Alex Faust, Jay Walker here with you as Louisiana Lafayette gets back to work. Yet another positive play on first down, but going back to Georgia Southern, Ellison and Fabian Upshaw have been their 2 quarterbacks this season. Both have been banged up. One of the few full-time quarterback duos in the country, and neither one is available. Fabian Upshaw at least dressed in pads today, but he's not expected unless there's a dire emergency to see any action today.
And that's a lot of offensive rushing yards on the ground. Over 4,000 yards rushing. Hard to replace that. That's a key cog in that offense that you just don't have. And with those 2 guys being out, teams have really been able to focus on Matt Breida. And Breida's productivity has really been hampered.
Ellison, only the 3rd quarterback in Georgia Southern history with 3,000 pass yards and 3,000 rush yards. But can only watch. Tyson Summers has had a frustrating night on the Eagles sideline. First down for the Cajuns after another run play from Anthony Jennings. This one is Darius Hoggins. Positive yardage on first down. They just keep running it right down the gut.
No adjustment made. They bring in DeAndre. They're going to run the football, but Georgia Southern continues to keep their two safeties high as if he's a passing threat. Anytime that you get Deion Ray in the game, I'd bring the safeties up. Joshua Moon and Sean Freeman, they're both 10 yards away from the line of scrimmage.
400 yards of offense for the Raging Cajuns on the road. And Calais brought down for a loss. Bernard Dawson forcing him back 6 yards.
They made the adjustment. They're going to bring a run blitz, saying we're not going to let anything get outside. So you're going to see a hard angle here, hard angle here, plus another blitzing coming from the outside. This is a run blitz, but great outside contain, not allowing anything to get outside, becoming more aggressive in the running game versus Louisiana Lafayette.
You can count on one hand how many times Georgia Southern's been in the backfield today.
Yeah, I don't need any hands, I don't think.
Jennings in trouble, gets away, and lobs this deep into his own bench. So at least Georgia Southern gets off the field without allowing any further damage. 3 straight drives for Louisiana Lafayette, actually 3 out of their last 4 that had resulted in points. But finally the Eagles are able to get off the field and maybe try to turn the tide here. Anthony Jennings finally turned loose by his coach Mark Hudspeth, but give a lot of credit too to Deion Ray, who has a rushing touchdown today. Monte Crockett back deep for Georgia Southern. Stephen Coots barely got that punt away. It's a short one. Favorable roll puts it inside the 15-yard line. 35-yard punt. This might be a catalyst for good things to come for Mark Hudspeth's bunch, who had just been stymied offensively all year.
Yeah, look at the job he's done. I mean, there weren't really expectations at Louisiana Lafayette before he took over. But then when he came and really got it going, they went to their first bowl game. They went to 4 straight bowl games. A little bit tough this year, but they think they'll bounce back. And while we've got that look there, happy birthday to Coach Hudspeth. We might have mentioned it earlier, but not only is it his birthday, but his son, Captain, it's his birthday. And one thing I learned about Coach Hudspeth today, getting ready to be a daddy again. Said his 5th child is on the way in the oven, so congratulations to that family.
Pass knocked down to the line of scrimmage here. And incomplete. Terrence Jones. Check that. It's Trevera Miller who got the knockdown. But yes, Mark Hudspeth, his 6th season. His son, Gunner, one of his 5 sons, a freshman quarterback on this team. Only one of 7 active father-son duos in the country. I'm talking with him earlier this week. This was penciled as a game where they could finally perhaps show the glimpses that they'd seen the last couple weeks. Line drive throw is caught short of the line to gain. Monte Crockett with the grab. And a 3rd and short upcoming.
Monte Crockett's an interesting story. Wasn't going to play his senior. He's already graduated and said he was going to sit out this year and just start working. And coach said he had to go recruit him back on the football field by going to Olive Garden. And he's come back and had a fantastic year as a 5th-year graduate, averaging 15 yards a catch. And one of those feel-good stories in college football when you see a guy like that participate.
This is Hampton McConnell, who has 1 catch today. Slow to get off the field. One of a couple freshmen for Georgia Southern that they've tried to work in as the season's gone along. But this is a tough stretch for Georgia Southern. Obviously, they had Ole Miss thrown in there right in the middle of their conference season where things were not going their way, and they're not used to running into bumps in the road here in Statesboro. 5 national championships at the FCS level. They won the Sun Belt their first year they were here. They weren't even bowl eligible because they were still transitioning from FCS football. It's not every day that you have to look at bumps in the road, but Tyson Summers still only in his 1st season. Schumann's pass tipped up in the air off the hands of B.J. Johnson and not too far away from Joe Dillon and Simeon Thomas. I should correct myself, 6 national championships. North Dakota State could tie them with a 6th straight this year.
Yeah, I mean, they were the measuring stick amongst all FCS football or 1AA when they first started playing football programs. A lot of tradition here, and they value that. It's a bump in the road. They're going through another coaching change. Willie Fritz is gone, and now you've got Tyson Summers, so it takes a time to gel a little bit, but you just know with all the pride that they have here in Statesboro, they won't be down for long. Nice fake.
Fake punt, and they've got the first down. Well, given the field position they were at, a little bit risky, but when you're down by multiple scores, why not? And Ross Alexander, their backup tight end, mostly a blocking tight end, able to haul it in and move the sticks.
There's a little rugby pass and just a little throw it over, get it high enough where he can catch it. And look at the backup tight end make the first tackler miss. And what a nice call, nice execution. And you need something like that with time not on your side and this game getting away from you. I like the rolling of the dice by Tyson Summers.
Well, when you haven't had a first down this entire half, you might as well try something different. Maybe that's the spark. And Breida finally picking up some positive yardage. 3 yards on first down, but a flag comes in. Demarion Mitchell made the tackle on the play.
Holding on the offense, number 46. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
Ross Alexander, who made the great play, sets the Eagles back a bit. Give credit to Matt Flynn as well. It's not easy to do for someone who I'm guessing hasn't thrown the ball a ton in a game situation. On 1st and 18, Schumann finds a seam and gets back to the original line of scrimmage, eating up all the penalty yardage, +1.
A nice run. You don't have to get it all back on one play. Pick up some positive yardage, and now you've got 2 chances to pick up these 10 yards needed for the first down. Still like to see them use their running backs in the passing game a little bit more. Sneak Ramsby out in coverage and let him make something happen.
Well, there you go. Ask and you shall receive, Jay. And Ramsby, you see he's limping. Remember, he got hurt on the first play where he had a touch today. He took a Wildcat snap and got popped and still limping a bit.
And I think if they could ever get the ball to Matt Breida in that type of space, he can make something happen. He's got such great top-end speed.
Breida to the left of Schumann here. Sets up as a blocker. Completion to Monte Crockett turning the corner. He has a first down. And out of bounds at the 30. 11 yards. And Crockett with the reception to move the sticks.
I think the passing game is so easy that Georgia Southern just is not thinking it was going to be this easy to throw the football. They're surprised that they're not getting much more resistance from Louisiana Lafayette throwing the football, and they're just in unfamiliar territory.
Well, they'll have 15 minutes to try to put something together, trailing by a pair of scores and more at home. Now, it's a relatively chilly night by Georgia standards. We're close to the coast. A bunch of us are staying in Savannah here. Homecoming weekend, you can't find any hotels in Statesboro. And some digging to do for the home squad on homecoming. Alex Faust, Jay Walker here with you. They have a little lawn where you can sit on, park a blanket down, have a little picnic if you so please. Beautiful, beautiful little stadium here in Statesboro, Georgia. Paulson Stadium. They've just renovated it in recent years. Brand new turf field. And Seth Schumann trying to put it to good use. Firing a bullet on first down, but overthrown. Mike Jackson was the intended target. He has yet to record a reception tonight.
Just thinking after 3 quarters of football being played, when's the last time that these Eagle fans have seen their team held to less than 50 yards rushing? They normally get that in a quarter easily, but they've got 45 yards rushing.
Last 5 games, they've been under 200. It's just been anemic. Miles Campbell able to bring it in. Mark forward progress at the 22, bringing up 3rd and short. Reggie Miles on the stop. And Arias Howard as well. Well, this might be the game for Seth Schumann and company. And I would imagine 4-down territory.
Don't be surprised if they brought the blitz, brought Otha Peters and Lightfoot trying to get to the quarterback.
That'll be 4 in white, and here they come. They'll run it up the middle with Breida. Did he get there? He may be short of the line to gain by about a yard.
If you went for it with the fake punt before, now when you've got 4th and a yard, you go for it.
You almost have to. Even though a field goal makes it a 2-score game, you almost feel like this. You can't limit yourself to just 3 points here. 3 receivers to choose from left side, and they find one to move the sticks. Miles Campbell out of bounds after a gain of 6 and another 1st down.
What a difference in offensive philosophy. I mean, I can't believe this now. Georgia Southern, they run the football. One of the best rushing offenses in the country on an annual basis. 4th and 1, season on the brink, and they throw the football.
And it's not just a strategy. Their identity as an entire program is option football. Schumann, a fade to the end zone, and incomplete. Flag comes in. There was a little bit of jostling before the ball got there. Mike Jackson was the intended target. Well, they've let him play quite a bit. Haven't seen too many penalties.
That's interference on the defense, number 27. The foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball would be placed at the 2-yard line. 1st down.
You talk about letting them play a little bit. They called the flag there, but Georgia Southern got away with a hold. I mean, clear as day. Look at the right side of your screen. Number 71 gets beat by 50 coming. That's a hold.
Yes, sir.
And he turned him right in front of the quarterback, Trey Miller, and they didn't call that penalty, but they called the one in the end zone. Tough break for the Raging Cajuns.
Barno, one of their punt returners, one of their talented linebackers, tagged with the penalty. And a timeout taken. Louisiana Lafayette calls time. That's their 2nd. Well, at least Georgia Southern set up in pretty good position near the goal line. Trying to end what's been their worst stretch of football in a decade. 1-5 in their last 6. Oh, before the game, you mentioned it earlier, Jay. You got to meet your namesake, play-by-play guy for Louisiana Lafayette.
Yeah, we've met before, and Jay Walker is the one on the left. And then Jay Walker's also the one on the right. So we always say we're twin brothers by a different mother, if that's possible. But always good to see him. And every year we get together, we do a game in the same stadium. We take pictures together to see. So he says, hey, I remember when you were a little bit lighter. And I say, I remember when you had a little bit more hair. So we go back and forth, but always good. He's the voice of the Raging Cajun radio down there at ESPN. And good to see him. And he validated my Give Me 5 list. So we only disagreed on one school. So makes me know what I'm talking about.
Well, I would imagine a little bit of home cooking, so to speak. So Schumann, 1st and goal. Handoff. Ramsby. Touchdown. They needed that.
They needed that. A major way to keep hope going, and L.A. Ramsby has always been their red zone runner, goal line runner, finds daylight, makes it into the end zone easily.
That was a very workmanlike drive. 13 plays, 86 yards. And L.A. Ramsby punches it in. Now, what do you do? Go for 2? Now they're going to try it, and it's intercepted. This can be returned.
This may be 2 the other way.
Otha Peters. Nobody's going to catch him. Wow. Louisiana Lafayette takes advantage of the Eagles' mishap on the two-point conversion.
What does that mean? Instead of being down by 10 with conversion, now you're down by 14, needing 2 touchdowns.
There is a flag behind the play, but I don't know if this will affect the scoring outcome.
After the score, unsportsmanlike conduct on number 7 of the defense. That penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff. The score counts for 2 points.
Georgia Southern, or Louisiana Lafayette, will likely take that trade. It's a 2-touchdown game still. Tonight, after the Tobacco Road rivalry between UNC and Duke, keep it locked to ESPN for Sports Center at night. Stan Barrett, Neil Everett. We'll have the Ravens highlights, all the college football, NBA, NHL highlights, NFL news, everything else from a busy night in sports. Sports Center at night after college football on ESPN, also streaming live on the ESPN app. UNC and Duke are going at a pretty high-scoring game down at Tobacco Road. Playing that game in Durham tonight. Here in Statesboro, Georgia, it's been virtually all Ragin' Cajuns. 3-5 on the season, trying to preserve bowl eligibility. They'd have to win out to do just that. Various Varnado to take this kickoff. Remember, pushed up because of the unsportsmanlike penalty and taken at midfield, sailing well into the back of the end zone. But all it takes is 2 scores. The 2-point conversion that went awry, even though, let's say, you kick an extra point, it would have been an 11-point game. It's still 2 touchdowns no matter what, Jay. I think you and I were just a little bit curious about what happened on that 2-point play, but Louisiana Lafayette, it doesn't matter what anything Georgia Southern's done today. They've had an answer since the outset.
Yeah, but that last possession worried me a little bit. They tried to run the football a little bit more, didn't have success. Throwing the football's really opened it up. They haven't put pressure on Anthony Jennings all evening, so be shocked if they don't try and throw the ball right here a little bit more, put some more points on the board, get a distance.
They've been rewarded with aggression. Jennings, shot play, near side, into coverage, and now Riles is appealing for a flag. Falls incomplete.
Wow, I'm surprised. They've been calling that call all night, and they didn't. And clearly Riles was trying to come back to the football, and it was William Bussey who was kind of caught out of position. Fortunate for Georgia Southern, they didn't get flagged on that play.
Remember Riles on that trick play, resulting in a touchdown, threw the ball about half the field, 48 yards to Keenan Barnes. That's really what's been the biggest play so far in this game. That was the dagger, so to speak, as Jennings runs out of bounds. And they'll set up yet another first down for the Ragin' Cajuns. But that was the dagger at the time, so to speak. I mean, Georgia Southern was reeling after a couple of 3-and-outs. And if they can eat enough clock here, Jay, Louisiana Lafayette can really put the pinch on Georgia Southern, give them very little time for 2 scores. Jennings lobs this ball in a perfect spot for Elijah McGuire. First down for the Ragin' Cajuns. Jay Beaudry came in there late for the tackle, but everything is coming up right for the Cajuns tonight.
A nice play call. Sneak number 15 in white off on a design swing pass, get it to him in space. Great out of the backfield catching the football. Stayed in bounds after getting the first down to keep the clock running. If you're going to throw the ball in these situations, you just want completions. They don't have to be long, but you just want completions to eat up the clock and help you hold on to your lead.
McGuire may not be 100%, but he's done yeoman's work today as Haynes finds a seam and picks up 8 on first down. Gary Haynes, one of many Raging Cajuns players who have battled injury trouble this year, injured his left knee in late September, fielding a punt. Cajuns were worried he might have been out for the season, but no major damage. Had minor surgery and has come back to be productive. 2nd and 2. Jennings faked the handoff and will dive past the line to gain. Injured player after the fact, and this is Ryan George, freshman for Georgia Southern.
George from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Defensive ended.
We'll come back and check on his status in just a moment. Ryan George rolled his ankle and is getting medical attention, limping off the field moments ago after this bit of contact on the backside of the play.
Yeah, just in the trenches, you'll see him get rolled up on by his own teammate trying to make a tackle, going to the football, and unfortunately Jamal Johnson rolled up on Ryan George, and let's hope that's nothing serious.
While he receives attention, the Eagles will get back to work defensively. We're talking during the break, Jay, how little they have tried to rush against Anthony Jennings and this Raging Cajuns offense today.
Yeah, just the defensive line, the front four in particular, haven't gotten it done. I mean, no sacks tonight. Haven't really got close to a sack. The only time I remember some real pressure was when Ironhead Gallen did the blitz from his linebacker position. And I just think that's where this football game's been won. The offensive line for Louisiana Lafayette has really put it on the Georgia Southern defensive line.
This is Calais, and he's met in the backfield. William Bussey with the tackle for a loss.
And that's the only way they've really gotten some penetration, is bringing their linebackers in to make plays behind the line of scrimmage. Great job by William Bussey, senior from Thompson, Georgia. If you're going to play run blitz, that's what you have to do. So they've got to leave their comfort zone and get their linebackers more involved to make up for the lack of run defense.
And to be fair, they're not a pass rushing team. Just 2 sacks the last 6 games, just 9 on the season. But even putting pressure on these running backs has been a challenge. Jennings, soft lob ball along the sideline, and Riles nearly came down with it. Ironhead Gowan on the coverage. So 3rd and long upcoming for Louisiana Lafayette. You can stop him here, get the ball back. 9:49, 2-score game. Not a bad spot, all things considered.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little surprised to see him throw the ball on 2nd down. Although they lost yardage, you still have to pay attention to what the clock is. 9:49, you could have snapped this ball with about 9 minutes to go. Instead, Georgia Southern can make a stop here, get the ball back, and enough time to score 2 times.
That's if they can stop him. And Jennings going through his progressions has no targets downfield. Just trying to dance away from whoever he can. Finally gets rid of it. That was terrific coverage downfield. And then Logan Hunt putting the pressure on the quarterback and forcing him to release.
And finally just forcing Jennings to leave the pocket for one of the few times tonight. A great job by the secondary of Georgia Southern, not giving up a big play and keeping the receivers covered.
Monte Crockett back deep. Low snap, and Coots gets it away. Crockett letting this bounce. A flag comes in. And we'll roll to the 11-yard line after that initial bounce, but we'll check on the penalty marker. Charles Lewis will give us the word on the penalty. was in the area of either holding or a block. It didn't seem like Monte Crockett had any interest in touching that ball. And it could have a consequence here depending on what this penalty is. The starting field position for Georgia Southern, as it stands right now, is at their own 11.
Number 22 for the kicking team went out of bounds. Did not come back into play. That's a 5-yard penalty, and it will be tacked on to the end of the kick. First down, Georgia Southern.
So it'll start at the 16-yard line for the Eagles when we return to Statesboro. This should be fun. Saturday, Troy and App State. Something's got to give. Two of the top teams in the Sun Belt go head-to-head. That game will be on ESPN 3. And then the third unbeaten team in conference play, Arkansas State. They might be 4-4 in the season, but make no mistake, they're out for a Sun Belt championship. They'll have Troy the following weekend, next Thursday. That'll be here on ESPNU. Jay, you won't be at Troy, you're saying?
Hey, well, it's going to be fantastic football. I definitely will be watching that game.
Yeah.
Jordan Chung, he's become the playmaker for Troy.
Mega Chun.
Yeah, he's done a good job of doing it. So Troy's going to win this Sun Belt title. They're going to have to earn it.
App State, of course, one of their losses came in that highly anticipated home game against Miami, but they've been good ever since.
Look at that back end for Troy. This is the last half of the schedule. App State, Arkansas State, Texas State struggling, and then Georgia Southern here. So
not exactly easy. Breida. That was an ugly play, and he managed to get back to the original line of scrimmage. I don't know if Seth Schumann intended for this to happen, but a little underhand flip.
Well, maybe he's a shortstop in baseball. That's how you turn two to second base.
Right.
So, nice little shovel pitch there.
And that's quite literally on the turn. You hit the bag, a little toss to your second baseman. They do give him a 2-yard loss on the play. They're down at 10. Schumann has to do something here. Stepping up, throwing, and well above the head of the intended target. He got hit, though, Schumann did, after the play. Joe Dillon bearing down on him, gave him a shot.
Once you cross that line of scrimmage with the football or get close to the line of scrimmage, you have to keep your head on a swivel. And from behind, Joe Dillon delivered a blow to Seth Schumann. Good job stepping up, but once you step up, you have to know where everybody is. It's going to hurt in the morning, young man.
Well, that's the last thing that Georgia Southern wants, given the quarterback situation already. Now, Fabian Upshaw was taking warm-ups today in pads, but they did not want to use him at all today. They say he's about a week away. The quarterback situation has not been good. This will add to the misery. A delay of game penalty for Georgia Southern before they can get the punt away. So now Matt Flynn will have to start in his own end zone. Fourth 3 and out this half in 5 possessions for Georgia Southern. Now this is a short punt. Won't even reach midfield. Fair catch at the 45-yard line for Gary Haynes. Well, what a day, though. You know, we can talk about Georgia Southern, their struggles. What a day, though, for Anthony Jennings. Doing a little bit of everything today, Jay.
It showed the ability to throw the football accurately and to let his wide receivers make plays. Jump balls, he put a lot of touch on the ball. Was able to thread the needle. They said they were going to take off the baby gloves and really open up the offense for him, and I think he did a good job. That's the best throw right there in the soft spot of the coverage. Able to do it, then ran the football. And that's the key. Did a good job of just staying in control, no interceptions, running the football when called on, and it's been a solid performance from Anthony Jennings.
Talking with Mark Hudspeth earlier this week, Terrence Broadway, their previous quarterback, had the luxury, so to speak, of a veteran offensive line, 4 years of chemistry with their running back Alonzo Harris, and Anthony Jennings, a grad transfer, took a little while for him to get thrown in there, and Mark Hudspeth admitted, as you said, Jay, a little bit too conservative perhaps the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, always tough, and didn't have the luxury of spring football either. I mean, showed up to campus a month, 3 or 4 weeks before the season began, and enrolled there, and it's a luxury item to have. Give him credit for winning the starting job and doing a good job, but now you start to say, if he's going to understand the offense, this is going to be the time, and he seems to be really comprehending the offense and what other defenses are doing.
Jordan Wright was given a bit of a shot, still managed to churn ahead for a yard. If you're tuning in for volleyball, USC Stanford, that is airing over on ESPN News, and will be on the U when we are done here in Statesboro. Homecoming for the Georgia Southern Eagles has been spoiled by the Louisiana Raging Cajuns at 2-3 in conference play, just trying to scrap together a couple of wins after losing 4 of their last 5 entering the day. Really a must-win game to stay bowl eligible. One of those victories in that 3-5 record was against an FCS team. So they've got to win out.
That's where they like to run the quarterback draw with Deion Ray.
We thought he might have pulled it back, but Jordan Wright moves ahead for a yard, bringing up 4th down. This is part of the field where I'm sure Mark Hudspeth would be okay trying to just put the game away on this drive.
We'll let some clock tick away, that's for sure.
So Jennings returns as they swap personnel. Of course, they'll let that play clock wind down. They won't even run a play.
I'm going to try and draw him off sides.
Fourth down.
What do you think? Given where the game is, would you want to go for it, just try to put it away right here, right now?
I think so. If you can control the clock, I would. 4th and 2. If you punt the ball and it goes into the end zone, I mean, what's your net? 16 yards,
right.
17 yards of field position. So I thought when it was 4th and 2, it would have been an opportunity that you could have gone for it. And the way your defense has been playing, I didn't think those 16 yards were going to hurt you.
Keep in mind, they have perhaps the best punter in the league to work with, Stephen Coots.
Let's see if it pays off and they can pin Georgia Southern inside the 10-yard line. That's where the return man is standing.
That would be Monte Crockett still trying to set their personnel at the line. Ooh, this got partially blocked. And will skip down to the 30 and be picked up. Ironhead Gallen got the ball, and there he goes. Knocked out inside the 5. Well, you wondered, you saw Georgia Southern packing that box, anticipating the block, and Stephen Coots, usually superb, took a little while to get rid of it.
Well, that's why you really don't want to snap the ball in this situation. Special teams, little high, off-centered, and a good job by Darius Sapp getting his hand on the football. And that's the play that they needed. Ironhead Gallen almost able to take it the distance, steps out around the 3-yard line. And not so fast. Great play on special teams from Georgia Southern.
2 blocked field goals and now 3 punts blocked for Georgia Southern this year. Now they have the personnel to do it, but an odd time of the game for Louisiana Lafayette to be a bit cavalier.
I think this is going to be an illegal substitution on Louisiana Lafayette, half the distance.
Substitution infraction on the defense. Player of the defense went out of bounds, out of the end zone. He must go out of the side. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
All of a sudden, if Georgia Southern scores here, you make it a 1-possession game.
And score quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to score on this first down right now so you can keep your 3 timeouts and put some pressure on Louisiana Lafayette to gain some first downs.
Handoff and Breida.
Wow.
Came up short. They have found him out nearly every time he's touched the ball.
I'd hurry up, get back on the line of scrimmage right now.
Flag on the play. They pull it back.
They're going to bring in L.A. Ramsby. He's their goal line rusher.
Only 20 yards rushing for Breida today, and that's why Ramsby's back in. And Ramsby is met immediately.
They just cannot get it done. Rotha Peters, Demarion Mitchell, that linebacker core from Lafayette really get the job done.
No, he's short. No, yes, he got in. There you go. Well, he came awfully close. Managed to just barely punch it in. Well, that changes things.
Can you believe if they make this extra point, they're down by just 7?
The way this game has gone, this is quite the turn. And Ramsby, yeah, he has some contact initially behind that goal line, but managed to fall onto it. And Younghoe Koo bangs through the extra point. Jay, this is a 7-point game. It all started with a blocked punt back at midfield, taken back 66 yards by Ironhead Gallen. It leads to a touchdown, and it's now a 1-score game in Statesboro. Alabama, Clemson, Michigan, 1, 2, and 3 in the college football playoff rankings, and in action consecutively, back to back on the ESPN networks, all starting at noon with the Bulldogs, who are coming off that huge win against Texas A&M, taking on Alabama. All games also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Matt Breida has 18 yards. Tyson Summers' team is only down by 7. Not bad.
For them to have a chance here in the fourth quarter, who would have thunk it?
Varnado from the 4 dances through a couple tackles and gets up to the 20. Well, we were talking during that break too, Jay, about last time the Cajuns had the ball, 4th and 2 near midfield. Decided to stretch that a little bit, get a little more room for the punter, winds up getting blocked.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit close to the best call. They got a little conservative, and we've seen that here this second half. And one thing we noted, we talked about it, they said the same thing last week in their loss versus Idaho. 96 yards total offense in the second half a week ago. Here they kind of shut it down a little bit in the fourth quarter. Now they have to worry about ball security and trying to pick up 1 or 2 first downs to preserve this victory.
Jennings, 5 wide receivers to choose from, and it's Al Riles who picks up the first down for the Cajuns. 13 yards and moving the sticks for Riles, who now has catches in 25 consecutive games. You see a Leagueway there who was chasing him out.
Yeah, I still can't believe that at this stage of the game, Georgia Southern's not willing to blitz the linebackers. They're trying to get to the quarterback with the 4-man rush. And when you don't get any pressure on the quarterback, he's either going to complete a pass to keep the clock running, or Jennings is going to take off and run. You have to get those linebackers close to the line of scrimmage and blitz in this situation.
Jennings on a keeper.
Go down. Smart play.
And that was a design play for Jennings from the outset to just make a read, and he picks up 8 out of it.
Now you have to call timeout. If you're Georgia Southern, it's time to call timeout. You have 3 timeouts. Don't take them with you.
Well, maybe the thought is you get some kind of play here on 3rd down, stop and then take your timeout, have 2 in your back pocket.
Yeah, but then when they gain another first down, you've got to play for another stop on first down.
Almost take what you're being given to a certain degree. Under 3 minutes to go. And the Cajuns leading by a score on the road. Handoff McGuire, and he comes up short. And that brings up third down. It's a 2-yard loss for McGuire.
So now you're in a bind. I don't think you take the timeout here, but I think if you're Louisiana Lafayette, you take your time.
Third down and 1 for the Raging Cajuns.
Because they didn't take it on second down, you don't take it on third because they can get the first down with just a yard.
This is the ball game, so to speak. And if Georgia Southern wants any kind of last gas, with about 2 minutes to go here, they need it now. And Jennings has the first down. Finally getting tackled past midfield, but may have just put the dagger into this game. 21 yards for the first down.
And you have to call a timeout now. Great job of taking his time, letting the hole develop, not being in such a rush, and then realizing the situation before going to the ground. 2 hands on the football. Smart play by Anthony Jennings. And now with no timeout being called, I think this ball game's over. They're going to run this clock down to about 1:10, 1:15.
Georgia Southern does not have the type of offense that can turn around and score in less than a minute. Hoggins got popped on first down, and a positive play. Timeout comes from the Georgia Southern sideline. So in theory, if you execute here, you get the ball back about a minute to go.
You got a minute to go that far down there. I mean, you really
That's
put you in a tough position. Let's take a look at the standings here in the Sun Belt and why this game was so important. We talked about the undefeated teams at the top, App State and Troy. And you got Arkansas State, who people are forgetting about, but slow start. They're undefeated in conference play. But both of these teams really need it. The magic number is 6. You have to get to 6 wins to become bowl eligible. Lafayette, 3 wins on the season. Georgia Southern with 4. So it's going to be interesting to see which one of these teams make it. I think Lafayette knew this was a game they had to win. And I don't know if both these teams are going to make it to bowl eligibility. What do you think?
Yeah, well,
it's tough.
I mean, Cajuns have a large hole to dig out of, and Georgia Southern's is getting larger by the day. The Arkansas State, they haven't lost a conference game going on 2 years now.
That's true.
2nd and 7. This is Dion Ray back into the game.
Now they'll call another timeout.
Ironhead Gowan with a tackle, and now 1:10 to go. The Cajuns, of course, have Georgia coming up, and then to finish the season, Arkansas State. That will not be easy, and they are interstate rivals in Monroe.
So you have to think, Georgia's going to be a tough task, but if they can knock off Arkansas State, which you mentioned hasn't lost a conference game in 2 seasons, you have to think Monroe's struggling there. They can make it in there, but it's tough.
I don't see 2 wins out of those final 3 games.
Conference play, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But in order to have a chance, they had to win this game tonight.
Right.
And they're 1:10 away from doing that.
Georgia Southern has 1 timeout remaining. 3rd and 8, pass, run. Just try to run clock.
You make them call the timeout. I think you run the football to make them call the timeout in case you don't want an incomplete pass.
Spread formation, 5 receivers, but Jennings, remember, can run. Short completion, Riles. I think he has it.
That'll win the game for you.
Eligwe got there to make the tackle, but Riles gets the first down, and that is just about that.
And what a play call. You had to have a completion, and not only did they get the completion, picked up the first down. And Georgia Southern has to use their last timeout. It all starts, look at the protection. He could have chose to run for it, threw the football, and allowed Al Riles to pick up the necessary yardage needed to get the first down and to seal the victory for the Raging Cajuns.
Al Riles is having himself a day, too. Of course, had that big pass play 81 yards today. Georgia Southern with 2 games remaining at Georgia State in Atlanta, and then finishing up with Troy in the southern part of Alabama.
And they need 2 wins. They've got to go 2 for 2. The Georgia State game, and Georgia State beat up bad this year after going to a bowl game a season ago. They're beat up at Troy. That's been the cream of the crop in the conference. So the good thing for Georgia Southern, they've got some time between those games to get healthy. See, one of them's played on November 19th and then December 3rd. They could have a lot riding on that game here in Statesboro.
Who's the best team you've seen in the Sun Belt this year? Out of those 3 undefeated teams, Arkansas State, I know, kind of underperformed in non-conference play, but of those 3, who would you say is the best?
I'm going to say, believe it or not, I'm going to say Arkansas State. Had the opportunity to see them go against a very stingy defense in Georgia State. If Georgia State does nothing nothing else, they can play defense. Troy is good, but they still have to prove to me they can beat some of the upper echelon teams. I saw them knock off South Alabama. Kept
it close with Clemson,
struggling.
Though.
They did. But, they literally almost lost to South Alabama. Close game. So, they got to beat some of the upper tier teams in conference, and then we'll see where it goes. But they are the cream of the crop right now, those undefeated teams.
Louisiana Lafayette has a lot of pieces. They're hoping this will build into next year, still barely clinging on to bowl eligibility. They knock off Georgia Southern and spoil homecoming here in Statesboro, 33-26, the final score. Nice performance from Anthony Jennings here today. Run game got going as well. So for our entire ESPN crew, good night from Statesboro. Let's send you now to Palo Alto, California. USC and Stanford volleyball action.